I'd like to bring this, the regular town council meeting of November 25th order. Can I have a roll call?
You may. Councilor Bragdon.
Present.
Chair Danforth.
Here.
Councilor Dume. Councilor Higgins.
Here via Zoom.
Thank you. Councilor Mackin.
Here.
Council McGlaughlin.
Here.
And Councilor Pelletier.
Here.
Would you join me in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under arrest.
Is it on for us?
Yeah.
Oh,
So seeing no adjustments to the agenda and no minutes to approve.
Here is an adjustment.
Madam Chair, sorry. It's gonna take some getting used to. We do have an update to the agenda, the addition of order 256, 2024. It's an additional warrant.
My apologies. Thank you. And you did give me the new agenda that I should be following. That we had that on it.
And the orders.
So we're going to move into special presentations now. And we're going to start resolve number 11-2024. Proclamation honoring Anthony Polaro. Councilor Pelletier, can I have you read that order? That part.
So. Tomorrow.
Can you turn your mic on, Counselor Pelletier?
I'll start.
That would be wonderful.
Sorry. Resolve 11-2024. Proclamation honoring Anthony Tony Polaro for his public service to the town of Millinocket. Whereas Tony has been a community volunteer as well as a dedicated public servant to the town of Millinocket, serving more than 40 years on the planning board and many of those as chairman. And whereas Tony was a driving force in the process of creating the town of Millinocket zoning ordinance, comprehensive plan, and was deeply involved with many major developments within the town. And whereas Tony has dedicated countless hours volunteering to ensure development in Millinocket was managed responsibly with the utmost professionalism and foresight. Now therefore be it resolved that the Millinocket Town Council assembled on November 20, 2024 hereby recognizes the honors, congratulations, dedicated volunteer and public servant to the town of Millinocket.
Motion made by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Dume. Time for public comment. I'm sorry. I'm going to take it back out to.
Tom Malcolm, 73 School Street. I just want to thank Tony for the years that he dedicated to planning board. Having served on the planning board with Tony, the one thing that you could always count on was Tony had the research. Tony knew what was going on. He stayed very active in state rules and regulations that were changing every day. And stepping into the CEO role, I really see what Tony did. In my other role, I didn't see it as much. I know Tony was always there, but to have the leadership that Tony had and dedication and the history, why we did what we did, meant a world to a lot of us. And I think the whole community owes Tony a real thank you for all of his dedication. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Evan Danforth, 317 Mass Avenue. I have served with Tony on the planning board for about 19 years. And I too just want to say hi.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I just want to thank him for his committed service. As Tom said, he is a rare person to have the commitment, the dedication, the knowledge that he has and brought to each and every meeting. He's a resource the town will miss, but I wish him well. He's earned his time off. Thank you, Tony.
Anyone else from the public? You may.
Dinah Lakeman, Town Clerk. As Town Clerk, dealing with Anthony for not as long as the rest of the gentlemen on the board. However, he was always very thorough, especially with filing all of his paperwork and chair duties on the planning board. So I do commend you, and you do have a well-deserved vacation, if you will, from your public service. Thank you.
So Pelletier,
Thank you. I've served Tony on, planning board well over 30 years, and another board in town as long as that. Early on, I took him on as a mentor. Exemplified everything I wish I could. Want to apologize for a poor protege. Been thorough, meticulous with his, time, and the reason why he stayed chair for decades. You know, kept everything going. It was a pleasure working along. Them gentlemen now, and heartfelt thank you all the years. I'm glad still volunteering in a smaller fashion town. Thank you very much for your service.
thank you, Councilor. Councilor Bragdon?
Tony, I want to say thank you. I haven't got to work with you very often, and the short times that I did get to work with you, you were a wealth of knowledge. Very thorough is what's been said, and I appreciate every insight that you've given me over the last 4 years that I've been a counselor and as a citizen. So I appreciate everything you've done, and I hope you decide to come back like others have. It sucks to lose that much knowledge, especially when we're making such progress. So thank you for everything you've done.
Probably haven't worked with you much at all, but I've seen you at work. And didn't know when I'll get to, owes you a debt of gratitude. It's been said here before that you're a tremendous resource, and it must have been a labor of love for your community, you to do all this, for this long, for many years. There's a lot of that goes unnoticed, unappreciated, and, so on behalf of citizens of Millinocket, I do well, thank you for all the time and effort that you have put in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor May. And you must have been looking at my notes because I wrote, town owes him a debt of gratitude. I certainly feel the same way. And a dedicated public servant is an understatement. Over 40 years, you've given this to this community. And more than just this role, I've served with you on other boards. I mean, you're very you're woven into the fabric of the community. And for that, we are very grateful for your service. And as Councilor Pelletier said, we're glad that you're still here from work because you're a historian, you know so much, and you're still a resource for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for that, we will go to a vote, but we do have a resolve that we will present to you. Won't get away too fast. So all those in favor of resolve number 11-2024. Yeah, we have to go through a roll call. Councilor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Do you have volume?
Sure.
Aye.
Councilor Higgins, how do you vote on the resolve?
Aye.
You did say aye, we could say Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin. Aye. Councilor Dumeay.
Aye.
Councilor McGowan.
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
And Chair Danforth, aye. 7-0. You come up. You like to say the word.
Well, the words though I'd like to say is that planning board functioned with 7 members. And I wasn't the smartest guy on the board. There were smarter people than me. I just wanted those people on my team and things worked out. Thank you. And thank you to the members.
Well,
You're
Oh, no.
appreciated.
Oh, no.
Before we move forward, Counselor Higgins, can you say something out loud, please?
Can you hear me? Hi. Hello?
Say what's happening.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me?
As we work out the piece of technology difficulty.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Here, it worked when I was testing it out earlier.
Can you hear me now?
I don't think it's him. He just tested the audio on this side and it.
Yes,
All right, well,
we'll try to figure it out.
continue on.
So thank you for your patience. So next, we do have a special presentation by Dr. Shelley Lane, Superintendent of going to give us the Millinocket School Department quarterly update.
Ask a question, Madam Chairman. Mr. Manager, if we can't get his audio, can he hear us? If he can get us, if he can vote by vision.
Check it up. All right, we're good. Say something, Counselor Higgins. He's- You can hear us, Counselor Higgins, yes?
Blink once for yes.
Yes, yes.
I wonder if it's located.
Seems to be working great.
I know it's distracting when we have two things going on. So do you, you'll continue to work on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Full attention to Dr. Lane. So thank you. So thank you. Sorry. Thank you for being
Absolutely.
patient.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me back. Sometimes I wonder if I tell you too many stories that someday they'll be, we'll just skip you this quarter. So I appreciate the welcome back. There's been a lot of things go on at school. So just like the last couple of times, I've, kind of made a list. If there's something in there that you'd like to ask me about or make comment about, or want more information when I'm done, if I don't have it, I can, get the information to get back to you. All right, so since we last sat together, our enrollment at the Millinocket schools, pre-K to 12 has changed by 4. At one point, it had gone up by 8, and now it is down by 4. So from last time we talked till today, we're 438 students. We have 15 students from the unorganized territories, and that is consistent with the last couple of years, other than we had a 16th student for a couple of months. Also, since we last met, we have been working steadily and very intentionally on the topic of communication. So we have a communication committee, which is fairly new, and we talked about kind of the simple thought of you can do 15 really good things, but then the one negative thing that happens kind of like overshadows everything that, you know, the progress that you've been making in a positive way. So we're trying to be, this committee, the communication committee, is trying to be very intentional about getting the good word about school out. And I say the good word, but I really mean the word. I mean, we're talking about test scores, we're talking about basketball games, we're talking about professional development, we're talking about budget. We're just telling people about the Millinocket School. So recently I brought these, I don't know if anybody has any interest, but we made this single sheet, and it's called Connecting with Millinocket Schools. And these are some of the intentional ways that we're trying to get the word out. So download the Millinocket School app. Did you know we have a Millinocket School app? We do. And there's a lot on it. There's events, schedules, there's pictures, there's kids' work, there's like a pin to like where the last football game was. Like all of those things are captured within the app. So this blue paper, which I'll leave with you, you can download it on iPhones or Androids. We have a new Facebook page. So we have gotten closed the 2 Facebook pages that we had, and we now have merged to have one Millinocket School Facebook page. So that as well as on here. And we have a new website. So currently we're going through the material that was on the old website to make sure that it's current, because there is a lot of material on there that is not. As we've been going through things like policies particularly, we're just making sure that those are all on the website and they're all updated. So this blue page I'll leave here for anybody who's interested. And we recently had a lot of parents into school, and we gave them this survey, and it was just a few questions, and it's all on information that is on the blue page. So we were really excited about the information. Have you downloaded the app? So at Stearns, 98 families have downloaded the app, and at Granite, 59 families have downloaded the app. Have you shared it with anyone? At Stearns, 44 families have shared it with somebody else. At Granite, 34 families have shared it with somebody else. With that, we're hoping to get like alumni, or get Grammy, who lives in Texas, or, you know, Auntie, who lives in New Hampshire, you know, like share it so that they can log on or bring it up, I guess, on your phone and just see what it is kiddos are doing. So when the football team was at the nursing home, there's a clip on there. When they were over to Granite, there's a clip on there. The work that some of the Granite kiddos did with pumpkins, that is all displayed in their halls, there's pictures of it and it's on there. So even if you're not here, we're hoping that we can share some of the experience with you. The next question was, have you visited our new Facebook page? At Stearns, 104 families said yes. At Granite, 82 said yes. Have you visited our new website? At Stearns, 83 said yes. At Granite, 69 said yes. So that tells me that the efforts that we're making to communicate are beginning to work. That's a pretty wide group of people that have access to some of it. Since we last met, we've also met, the technology committee has met. We have a new technology director. He started in August. And he's working on things like recycling and disposal programs. He's looking for efficiencies. In the mix of finding antiquated old things, he has also found some laptops, and he's also found some devices that were purchased and some used, some gently used, and a few not used, of items that were purchased during COVID time. So they're items from 2019, and we will look to see how we're going to best use those. We've also become part of a RUS grant through his participation with us. That is where a team of federal grant writers will help us along with other rural schools to apply for a grant that is up to $1 million that is used for conference licensing, projecting, interactive boards, network upgrades, and other types of devices. And also 10% of whatever the dollar figure is, if we're lucky enough to get this award, is used for staff development. Because one common problem is you get a new device, you get some new tool, and then you don't have anybody support you with on how to best use it. So we are applying for that. The criteria is targeted rural, less affluent, and school districts. So we're hoping that that might prove helpful to us. And I believe the award for that is in March. So we'll have a little bit of work to do before then. Our wellness committee has met, and we have Katie Carr and Sandy Brooker, who are our ambassadors. They do programs on things like nutrition, recipes, activities. And what I brought to share was just the October newsletter. This highlights some of the breast cancer awareness. It highlights activities that you can do, ways to start conversations, ways to be supportive to your family and your coworkers. We have, since we last met, we have a new time card to track our time and attendance. That was one of the audit suggestions, that we kind of clean it up. It had lots of small spaces, things that were hard to read and a little bit confusing. So that has gone into play. We, paid family medical leave was passed by Governor Mills October 25th of 2023. There was a lot about it on the news for a while, and then it kind of, I don't know, quieted down. But now it's almost time for deductions to start from employees. So on October 22nd of this year, I put out a question and answer just so that our employees would be aware that there would be a new deduction in their paychecks that would start in January. It questions like, what does the program do? Who does the law cover? What kind of leave does the law cover? Who's eligible for benefit? How much time can workers take? Those type of questions are important because there will be a change in the paychecks for our employees. This is, Ms. Casey is here with me today as well, and she attended some workshops. We're trying to, there's still some details that are not clear about how this will be applied. And this is not a Millinocket thing, it's not a school thing. It's across quite a spectrum, so there's a lot of details that I'm sure they will be sharing with us. This year, we're going to be entering into negotiations with the Ed Tech group, that's the Title I folks and the special ed folks. Also, food service, because they had a one-year contract. If you remember, there was legislation last year that was talking about what the salaries is going to be related to Title VI. So again, that's something that's not exactly completed yet, but we will be into negotiation with that unit. The Maine Discovery Museum has put out some programs, some new programs to support particularly elementary education. So Darlings gave them a van a couple of years ago, and they've put 5,000 miles on the van over the last year, going out to schools, providing some instruction for science, because science is really kind of a neglected or challenging subject to teach at the elementary level, so they're kind of targeting that area. They also do something called Science Teacher Academy and Maine Invention Convention, and those are things to increase the skill set of staff who are working with children. That is an offshoot from the Maine Discovery Museum. The Maine Discovery Museum has been in Bangor now for a number of years, but they're bridging out in order to support more in the public school area. You can give me a signal when you want me.
So maybe highlight some special things that you want us to hear.
Okay, all right. So that was number 9, and I have like 31.
That's
So,
31.
okay.
We're
But
very
I was
appreciative.
gonna say, how about I
of
try and
things.
cover them,
Yeah.
but I'll say less? Is that all right? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, we've done a lot with, safety planning. Our program that we're using is called Love You Guys. I would highly encourage you all to just go online, Google it, and it is a very intensive, a great resource. There is, standard response protocols. We have, we're using this like a real guide. Really appreciate all of the information that's gone out. There's been a lot of communication. I hope everybody here has heard something or seen our kids because they're really doing well. Practice, practice, practice to hopefully never use. I'll skip the next one. Our strategic plan was rolled out at our school board meeting a while back with the idea that if you don't plan ahead, you really don't go. It's kind of like if you're going on a trip. If you don't plan where you're going, you don't know what roads to go, you don't know where to find lunch, you know, you just don't know those things. So having a strategic plan for the Millinocket school system lets us follow the mission and vision that the school system already had. Lets us prioritize where we're going to use resources, which is really important because it's human resources. It's what the people are doing, and it's also going to be financial resources, which is critical to us all doing well. We're able to do make decisions by data, make decisions by looking at the needs of the kids. I won't go through all of this, but there's been a lot of work, a lot of time put into this, and it is something that we'd be happy to share, go into more detail, or have feedback. It's a living document. Because if it becomes static, we become static. So we're trying to keep the ball moving, and I'd be happy to share and gather information from anybody who would like to talk about it. We've talked a lot about engaging student voice, which comes out in, it's highly researched that when students are involved in their education, they're more excited, they show up more, and they do better. So we're really taking a big focus on that. We recently had student-led conferences that also fall in with the research, and our numbers really were outstanding. Our pre-K students, we had 100% participation. Kindergarten, we had 96% participation. I don't have the data for the next 2 grades. Grade 3 had 97%, grade 4, 94, grade 5, 97. And those are all kind of expected because a lot of times you show up for the elementary kids. But listen to these staggering numbers. I'll start at the end and go backwards. Grade 12, 96, 95%. Grade 11 and 10, 95%. Freshmen, 100%. Like those are staggering numbers. They beat what we even thought they would come out to. So we're really, it wasn't all perfect. You may have heard things about people not wanting to do that. I've heard things about people not wanting to do that. But we have to stick with the fact that we know research and best practice supports this, and we'll improve it. We'll get better at it. Shared services. We recently had some meetings. I invited some folks on November. I sent the invitation out on November 7th for a meeting on November 20th. And I invited a hand-picked group of people to sit at the table from East Millinocket and from Medway, to come talk about specific things. Our children need more opportunities. They need a wider range of learning opportunities. So I thought if we could all sit at the same table together, we could talk about what our kids are doing in all grades, pre-K to 12, but with a little bit of additional focus on our 9 through 12, because those are going to be our first out the door. Those are the ones who, if we don't give them the skill sets that they need soon, then they're going to be perhaps floundering, perhaps needing something that they might have to retake a class or find a resource that that we would have wished we could have helped them with. That said, we had a great meeting. We had a lot of people at the table. We did talk about, advantages, disadvantages. We talked about what some of the potentials are, what the challenges are. And there was enough people around the table that wanted to continue the conversation that we're having another one in December. I have a lot more to share on that as well. Just I'm trying to go fast. We have a grant that we applied for. It is called Extended Learning Opportunities. It is $1 million grant that we were awarded along with 4 other communities. So it's a five community grant. Our portion is $227,250. We'll have an ELO, an Extended Learning Opportunity Coordinator, which will help get our students out into working type scenarios in our community. And that will be starting really soon. Mia with food service, if you remember, got the HMI grant. We've expended 81% of that grant at this point. She's had a lot of the goals for the grant are with the Chef Ian Foundation, and it is recipe development, streamlining, kitchen staff training, and all of that has gone awesome. We're looking right now to get back $82,458. The grant remains with $26,000, which we have got our eyes set on where that will be spent. Our international program, we have 62 students enrolled in the dual diploma program at this time, and we've recently been awarded the ability to give the seal of biliteracy, and that can go on student transcripts, which will help them also access scholarships and credits into the university. So that's a new thing.
I don't want to cut you short. If you have more important things, I know.
I just always have things.
I know you.
There's new legislation. Chapter 123 is looking at social studies. Chapter 115 is looking at public comment for certification. Certification is really a tough thing because we are really short-staffed all across the state. And certification is done by state. So the nuances that each certification team puts in is up to the state. So they're looking at ways to give people credit for work that's already been done, knowledge they already have, in order to more fully staff our schools. That is kind of a big deal for us because here in Millinocket, we probably have some people who have some skill sets that could help. We started work on the FY26 calendar. Region, I wanted to mention, let me just mention region. Region is under some new rules. One of the new rules is representation. So we had our whole board go to participate in that, and now because of a rule change, we send 2 representatives plus 1 community member. So it's a new rule. It's gonna have some impact, but this next one is the one that is more important, I think. The CTE programs across the state of Maine have now decided that students who go to the CTE programs are experiencing other core information that they would be getting back in their schools, in particularly math and English. And so they're looking at very strategically and intentionally allowing credits for those core classes to be provided to our region kids. I personally think it's awesome. I'm glad that somebody is finally looking at it that way. When I worked at Katahdin, we already did that. So I'm glad that that's going to be happening for our kids. They can be 8 credits, quarter credits, half credits. It can be based on what the program the student is in and how it's defined for what their work is. That can be a real benefit for some of those kiddos. I'll end with, there is a new commission that's put together to study school construction and the revolving financing funds, because the need is outpacing what they have for funding. So they've decided that they need to look at the entire structure. That's important because if there's something that we want to do with our schools, we're going to have to see what their rules are. Come see me if you want more information.
Thank you, Dr. Lenny. That was a whole lot of information. I will look to the council. appreciate the update. And like you said, there are several points that we will likely follow up with you.
Yes,
about.
please do.
Yeah,
Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Can I leave these here for you folks to
Oh,
share with
Yeah.
everybody?
I already have one. I already got one. Already. So next on the agenda, we have Dr. Robert Peterson, CEO of MRH, going to talk to us about the ER renovation.
I don't think
I'm gonna hold-
put enough handouts for.
Bob, can you hear us? Can you nod? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Thank you. We had been wondering.
Back.
So we need you where there's a mic. Is that mic live, Diana? Sorry. Yeah, okay. Thank you. We're ready for you. You're ready.
So I'd like to start by saying how excited I am to finally be in front of the council about this project. Been doing planning for over a year now, and it's finally starting to come to fruition, and we can go public with it and let people know what we're thinking and how it's progressing. So it's great to be in front of you all and let you know the good news that's happening up on the hill. Second thing is, before I start, I just want to point out some of the funding sources that we are using to fund this project. And I want to thank the Penobscot County Commissioners and Senators King and Collins for supporting this project. We received one ARP grant from the Penobscot County Commissioners and 2 CDS grants that will fund a very, very large portion of this project. So thanks to all the people who have helped us so far to get to this point. So I'll go through the document in front of you quickly and add a couple of quick comments on each of the bullets on the front page, and then open it up to questions for the group. So on the project summary, this project will increase the size of the emergency department from 4,300 square feet to just over 15,000 square feet. And that's important because during COVID and since, there are many, many times where the emergency department as it stands is full. Every room is full. We are bringing people in and treating them in the hallway, and we have just outgrown the current space. So we do need to expand and provide better service. And what this means is with more rooms, we can get patients into the ER faster and get the diagnostic process started faster, so they're not waiting in the waiting room, waiting for a spot to come in. We can get things moving much more quickly. I mean, in the big hospitals, they're used to and comfortable with delays of 3 to 5 hours before you can get into a room. In a small rural hospital, that's just not acceptable. So we've got to do a little bit better job, and this will give us the space to accomplish that. It does increase the number of treatment rooms. We currently have 5 treatment rooms, and it'll increase that to a total of 10. So it'll double the amount of working rooms that we have available. It creates 2 dedicated trauma treatment rooms. Currently, we have 1 larger room with 2 bays. So if we ever have an accident that happens, we could have 2 family members trying to be treated at the same time. There's no privacy, and one side knows exactly what's happening in the other side. And the space is very, very cramped. This creates 2 large trauma rooms so that we can take care of more than 1 patient at a time and have enough room for the staff and the equipment that's necessary in a trauma code. So it'll be much better in trauma situations. It, like I said, it increases the physical size of the trauma treatment rooms, and it also increases the size of the cardiac treatment room. Our current cardiac room, when we have a cardiac case in that room, between the personnel it takes to run the cardiac code and the equipment necessary, there is virtually no room to even move in that room. So these rooms will be much larger and much more conducive to today's equipment. We planned and we are going to construct 4 specialty rooms to be used for behavioral health patients, psychiatric patients, and substance use disorder patients. These will be constructed to today's standards, provide a safe environment for those patients, and also provide a quiet, comfortable environment. Right now, whenever we have one of those patients in the ER, they're right by the nursing station all day, 24 hours, day and night. The lights are on. It's a loud environment, and it's not conducive to good care. We've got to do a better job. These will be isolated where they can be quiet, they can be darkened, people can get some sleep, and they can also begin the treatment process for wherever they're being transferred to. Many of our patients are being transferred to Acadia, but beds are not available. So we can have a patient in our ER anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks and sometimes months, before we can finally get them placed in an inpatient facility. These rooms will allow them to begin the treatment process with personnel from those other hospitals in our hospital, so they can get started on the treatment and get better rather than worse. The plans also call for an 11th room. It's a decontamination room with a separate dedicated entrance from the outside. If anyone gets covered with chemicals or anything toxic, right now, unfortunately, they're brought into the emergency department directly, and they contaminate the emergency department and half the staff. So what this room will do is it'll allow us to bring a contaminated patient in from the outside. It'll have multiple shower heads. We can get the patient cleaned off before we bring him into the emergency department. And it provides them some comfort and some privacy in the process. Right now, if we have to decontaminate a person, we will do it in the ambulance bay, and it's all glass. So this provides a much better environment in case someone does get covered. By the way, this is a standard that's required when you're building a new ER. So not only do we ask for it, but if you're ever renovating or starting a new ER, you have to provide a decontamination. So that's part of it. All of the treatment rooms can be converted to either positive air pressure or negative air pressure. This is extremely important when you're dealing with airborne pathogens, much like COVID, flu, RSV, any of those. So if we have a patient that's coming in with respiratory illness, we don't know what it is, and they are expelling virus as they breathe. When we put them into a negative pressure room, the air in that room is exhausted to the outside, and air is pulled in from the hallway to that room. So whatever is being exhaled by the patient, it doesn't get out into the ER to contaminate other staff or other patients. That's negative pressure. Positive pressure is we have positive pressure in the room pushing air into the ER. This is important if we ever get an immunocompromised patient who can't fight off disease. So they don't want us breathing on them. They don't want any other patient breathing on them. So they're in a room and the pressure is coming from the outside out into the ER to make sure that they don't get infected. You don't want to make a patient more sick than what they came in with. So it's very important that this entire facility can be converted at any time. Any room can be converted to negative or positive air pressure to protect our patients and our staff. Within the plans, and I'll point out to where that is when we go through the floor plan, but we've created an overflow area. This will be a 5-bay overflow area that is typically locked. It'll always be stocked with equipment, and it'll be ready to go at any time. So if we're ever inundated with either a mass casualty or a mass illness, like we have been with accidents and like we have been with COVID, we can immediately ramp up and fill this ward with like patients and put a nurse and a provider in that room. It'll always be ready. Right now, if we have to ramp up, we have to clear another area and stock it. But in this plan, it'll always be ready to be unlocked and turned on whenever it's necessary. The ambulance entrance will be expanded so that you can handle multiple ambulances at one time. Right now, if we have an ambulance in the bay, the second ambulance that's coming in has to wait. So we've got a patient that needs care but is outside. So this will allow better flow for ambulances. We don't often get inundated, but it happens. So we want to make sure that we can handle multiple ambulances at a time. It also creates two separate waiting areas. The picture that you have on top of your handout is what the new hospital entrance will look like. As you enter the vestibule under that overhang, the main waiting area will be to the right. That will be for outpatients, visitors, and staff to enter the building. And inside that vestibule, you can also be directed to the left, and that will bring you to the ER waiting room. Right now, we have very sick patients, sometimes injured patients, sitting in the waiting room with visitors and outpatients. It's not a very good environment, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. Patient who is sick or hurt is uncomfortable because people are looking at them. And the other people that are waiting in there are afraid of getting sick, and they're nervous about everybody commingled. So this will create two different waiting areas for the two populations. Be much more private, and certainly much more comfortable for patients and visitors. And as you can see, the drop-off area right by the front door is completely covered. So cars can drive up under the overhang, get people out of their cars without getting rained on, without getting snowed on. And all of the sidewalks in that area will all be radiant heat. So no ice, no snow, so you don't have people falling, trying to get people into the. So that's a quick synopsis of the project. If you turn to page 2, we can talk about the timeline a little bit. We do expect to break ground within days. I'm right now waiting for the final approval from the state. We did file a certificate of need application. That application was accepted. There was a 15-day public comment period. We did not receive any opposition or questions to the plan. So now the application is on the commissioner's desk, and we're awaiting a signature. As soon as we get that signature, we will get started. So this is happening and happening soon. If you have been up to the hospital lately, you will see construction equipment sitting at the ready. So the contractors are ready to go. They're just waiting for me to give them. So it's kind of neat. Once we get started, the project is estimated to take 14 months. That will put the completion date around February 1st of 2026. If we get started within the next week or two, that will put us done by February of 26. Phase 1 will be the construction of what you see in the picture. It'll construct the new entrance, the 2 new waiting areas, and the additional ER space. That will be the first phase to build a new building. Once that building is built and completed, the ER operation will move from the current ER into the new space. And then phase 2 is to renovate where the current ER is located. So phase 1 is to build a new building, then move the ER out to that building, renovate the current ER, then when all is said and done, you join the two together. That's the next phase of that. As for disruption, this will not be without pain. We don't have a lot of parking up on in the hospital right now, and directly in front of the current ER will be the construction area. There's not very many parking spaces lost right there, but adjacent to that will be a fenced-in construction area where all of the construction vehicles and equipment will be housed. So we will be losing parking directly in front of the hospital as it stands. Past that area, people can park, and that will be where the surgical office is, out toward Poplar Street. So parking will still be available on the top side. But remember, when they start building the new building, the current front entrance will be closed off. So we don't need as much parking on that side as necessary. When the construction begins, patients, visitors, and ambulances will enter to on the opposite side of the building, on the north side of the building, near the old entrance. Up on the upper level, there is a parking lot, there's a generator there, and it's a small lot, but if the patients have drop-offs there, ambulances will come and go in that area. As long as we limit that to visitors and patients and ambulances, we're hopeful that that will cover the need. It may be a little tight during the day. It will be fine in the evening and at night. So we will evolve. If that does not work well, we'll continue to massage the plan so they can to the building safely. Once they enter the building in that back door, they take a right, they go down the hallway, current waiting area and registration area stands, PR stands, so they go in the back instead of in the front. They find their way to the PR and registration. So like anything, it's an evolution. We feel that it'll work, we've practiced with it, think it'll be okay, but we'll see and we'll adjust accordingly necessary. Patients and visitors can also access the hospital on the lower level, down by primary care in the current walk-in area, down by my office. That will be open. And they can also have a drop-off at the MRI door up on the top level, where the MRI van is parked. Patients can drop off up there and come in that side door. So there are other access points. The only access point we're closing off is the main entrance. Other than that, all access points are still available. And if you turn to the next page, this is the floor plan with the yellow shaded area. The yellow shaded area is the current ER. And then the area out front is the new portion of the emergency department and the new entrance. And then the last page is just a more detailed view. It shows the access road that goes in under the canopy, and it shows you a little bit more detail on the number of rooms that we are creating. The hospital has not had any major renovations or construction since the 90s. So it's been 30 years since any major construction has been done. I do want to point out that I'm hopeful that with the hospital investing in their infrastructure, it motivates other businesses in town, that it's worth investing in their business and taking their game to the next level. I was taught a long time ago that if you want to move to a community and you want to move your business to a community, look for cranes. If there are cranes in the community, it's a positive sign. So we will have cranes up at the hospital. Hopefully it will motivate others to move here, bring their businesses here, and bring their families here. So we do think it will be a piece of economic development. If you're not building and you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. So we want to make sure that MRH is here for the long haul and is here to take care of our families for the next 3 to 4 decades at least. This project will meet our needs for at least the next 2 decades. So with that, I will stop and entertain any comments on that.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And thank you, Bob, for the presentation. Total cost of the project is? The construction cost, this is all the contractor costs, comes in at 14.2 million. And how much of project all in is covered by grants? The CDS grants total 13.3 million. So we will need to make up a shortfall at the end of the project either with donated funds or our own operational funds. Thank you. We are very close with grant dollars.
Thank you. So I have one question. With the major increase in footprint in the ER, will you have more staff? And if so, how many?
So in the early part of the project, when it's first open, the current staff that we have can handle it. We can handle it. It'll be the same volume. But as the community grows, and we think because the hospital will be more modernized and have a better presentation, we do think that the volume will go up. So that within the next few years after opening, we may have to increase the nursing staff in the ER and the provider staff. And we will do that by way of volume curves. The volume curves show that we have an additional volume and the clearance time starts to elevate. Then we will consider adding a second provider when the volume is high and, appropriate nursing that we can flex into that area if the volume increases. But I hope to have that problem. That's the problem I'm looking for. It's a good problem.
Any other council? Anyone in the public have a question for Dr. Peterson about this renovation project?
Ms. Sullivan.
Sullivan?
Hi, my name is Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. I don't have a question. What I have is a comment. This hospital saved my life a couple of months ago. They then shipped me to Bangor, where they did all the fancy testing. But had this hospital not been here, I would have never lived to make it to Bangor. Whatever needs doing, we need to do it to modernize and keep this hospital as modern and patient-friendly as possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ms. Sullivan, thank you for your comments. I have mentioned to many people that the survival of small rural hospitals is critical to the health and well-being of the community. And especially when it comes to patients who are suffering from strokes, cardiac events, or trauma events. In a stroke, time is brain. And we need to make sure that there's a hospital available when people have stroke-like symptoms that they can come in, diagnosed, and start the treatment process. If that patient waits until they get to Holton or Lincoln or Bangor, the chance of their outcomes and potentially the chance of their survival diminish. In a cardiac case, time is muscle. The longer you wait to treat a cardiac case, the more damage there is to the heart. So the faster they get into a full-service hospital and start to get treatment, the better chance they have of survival and better function. And in a trauma, time can make the difference between life and death. So these access points, MRH is called a critical access hospital for a reason, is that people of this community deserve access to modern medical services, just like you would get if you were living in an urban area. But without these hospitals, and allow these hospitals to fail, it puts all of us in jeopardy. All the rural residents of this area become in jeopardy. And we pay the same amount of taxes as the urban residents do. We deserve healthcare just like they do. We're doing everything that we can to preserve that function in this community for years to come. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it very much.
Any other public comment? So I will thank you once again for coming here, and I actually learned something tonight, even though I work for you and I thought I knew all this information. I didn't realize that the main entrance was going to be totally blocked off. I thought there was going to be I just learned differently. So anybody that I told differently, I'll have to go back and correct that.
We'll have to get to the same waiting area and the same registration
Yeah.
area, just through a different door.
Yeah, and it'll be messy for a little while, but it's been very important to the public, to our community for this hospital. MRH is in it for the long haul. Thank
We
you
are.
very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. So that brings us on to new business. We're going to ordinance number 2-2024. We're going to enter into our second public hearing for amendment to chapter 75, general assistance. Councilor McGowan, can I have you read that?
Certainly. Ordinance number 2-2024, providing for amendment to chapter 75, general assistance code of the town of Millinocket in compliance with title 22 MRSA subsection 43054. Be it ordained by the town council of Millinocket and town council assembled that the Millinocket Code, chapter 75, appendices A through H be amended per the attached appendix. It is further ordered that this ordinance take effect 30 days after enactment.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor McGlaughlin, second by Counselor Higgins. Any more comment? Any public comment? So I will just make a quick comment. This is something that we do annually just to update our records so that we're in compliance with state maximums to back up. No other comment? We'll take it to a vote. Counselor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin?
Aye.
Counselor Dume?
Aye.
Counselor McGlaughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon?
Aye.
Counselor Pelletier?
Aye.
And Chair Danforth, aye. Passes. Together. So that takes us to the town manager's report. Mr. Manager.
Fantastic. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will highlight some items within this 11-page packet of information, which by tomorrow morning will be available for full review of anybody interested at .org under the newly updated town manager's page with the report archive dating back to January of 2022. So everybody will be happy to find out that I have moved forward with the contract that we were discussing with Spectrum about dedicated fiber internet to our buildings and a much more current phone system. So we will have dedicated, not shared internet access in each of our facilities. It will be much faster and much more usable than our current service, and will include all of our locations on the same phone system. So you will be able to call, for example, the town office and, press 3 for public works or 4 for wastewater, and that'll automatically be transferred to and from. And again, while on the phone with folks, we'll be able to transfer directly rather than having separate services at each place with separate phone numbers to call. So very much looking forward to that, convenient. The public access channel equipment, the new equipment is now live here in our building. There were a couple of wrinkles in the beginning, and then with the loss of the roof recently at a neighboring property, I'm sure many of you saw as you were riding by, there was a big metal roof flapping in the breeze. That metal roof took out the Spectrum line that they had just put in about 2 weeks prior. So they will be repairing that very soon, and that channel will be back up and running. We're working with the Charter/Spectrum folks and with Josh Linscott, who runs most of the IT operation for Cat TV, so we can get their content back up and running live on the channel. The elevator modernization is complete. We are very happy to put that behind us and to have a much more user-friendly, safe, and updated elevator. It was remarkable to see what obsolete pieces from 75, 80 plus years ago were replaced with newer modern pieces. A control panel the size of the entire electrical room was replaced with one about the size of a suitcase. And many other pieces of electronics and mechanical items within the elevator. So that was, I feel like that was over 2 years in the making, and the team that came here to do that did a fantastic job. We're very happy with the outcome, and we appreciate the support of the council, the county commissioners who had chipped in for some of the funding for that, and other partners that were involved along the way. The windows are from the fire damage are actively being replaced. We're very pleased to see that happening. And thanks to our Public Works Department, that eyesore of front awning on our building is now buttoned up with nice flat metal material that is all framed in nicely with new framing underneath it. A little bit of electrical work to go there, adding some lights, but very happy to see that coming together. 42 Aroostook Avenue. We did, in this report, it says we didn't have the information. We received information today that there were 2 minor discoveries with some contaminated materials there. So we are working between our brownfields team and confirming with Emery Lee and Sons how they'd like to address that. But we are still expecting that work to take place in December. So we will say goodbye to that big burn down building very soon. Very much looking forward to that. I did include our year-to-date financials. Those are in the packet. Expense and revenue for both the general fund and the wastewater enterprise account. It is pretty early in the year to go much into detail on expense and revenue because a lot of that plays out later in the year. You will see some pretty big red numbers in there. A lot of that has to do with journal entries awaiting to be made, and many of those lines are grant funded lines, which just have not been entered yet. We have no reason for any sort of concern at this point. Once I go through a couple of department updates, I will be seeking some input and discussion on the proposed cancellation of the December 26th meeting. The topic at hand is whether to cancel that meeting and approve the warrants through the email process, which we use commonly. And then what would happen is we add those warrants to the following council meeting to be approved in the regular format. It's a process that is commonly used by our colleagues over at the school board. It's not one that we've used here in recent past, at least, but it is certainly an option. I can speak for, I'm sure, several of us when I say I don't really care much to come in here the day after Christmas to do that. We will not have any other business to take care of. I can promise you that much. So we'll look for comments from the council on that for direction for my planning and that of the staff that I work with. I do want to share a few updates throughout those 11 pages. Public Works has just been incredible when it comes to bringing this Skeeto project to fruition lately. They actually, the delivery driver for the warming hut business had left the company, and it turned out that so our Public Works crew got some donated equipment from Emery Lee and Sons, and they were able to go down and get the hut themselves and bring it and place it. They put a nice pad down for it. They've installed platforms for the tow equipment. They've installed poles for the rope line up the hill. And they even worked at bringing Adam Quayle into the picture, so he actually was able to bring some of his very big equipment over there as a volunteer and finish up. He did some earthwork on the runs themselves. He widened them out. He made them real flat. He really did an incredible job over there, entirely volunteer on his own time. So we're very grateful for his efforts over there. We are just waiting for a couple of final pieces for the equipment and the technician from the Tow Pro company to arrive, and that will get installed and we'll be good to go. Very, very excited to see that happening this winter. Another long-term project that will be coming to fruition. And I actually, we included some pictures of the work that's happening over there for those to see. The transfer station, Emery Lee was able to finish the emergency repair over at upper number 1. That has all been corrected and is again up and going and safe for use. Jeff and I had a great meeting with the FAA and MDOT representatives, as well as our airport consultants, Hoyle Tanner, going over the going over the updates to the plans for the couple of major projects that are in the works over there. We had to make some compromises, but ultimately, I think, as I've explained individually, there's a silver lining which allows us a little extra time to address the funding source that we will plan to use for that runway project. Also, Jeff included a nice photo of the PALS and Angel flight offerings that take place through there. There's been an uptick in medical flights in and out of there. It's a really cool service. It's a free flight to and from treatment in Boston. And it is a pretty incredible thing that happens over there regularly. Code enforcement. Tom, as the code enforcement officer, public health and safety, all the hats that he wears, he'll be taking on the sand bucket program. So that was that's been a great program that's been used a lot by our community the last few years. And with the new ways of the fire and EMS world, it's not as feasible as it once was. So they work together, and Tom has graciously taken that under his public health and safety thing. So that will keep moving. The short-term rental ordinance, he pitched through the planning board. That is all finalized and updated and ready to be sent to the council. I expect that we will probably take that into consideration in January, provided that is the intent of council. And of course, marathon safety meetings. He's working a lot with Chief Cody and EMPD in Penobscot County and several other players, making sure we have good, strong safety and emergency plans for the marathon, which is coming up in just a couple weeks. Lots going on in the community initiatives director world. The one that I want to point out is that She is, along with Tom and the events team, bringing a new holiday event to Millinocket. So we'll be December 22nd. We will have a Festival of Lights parade. So it will be vehicles and different things and floats all decorated with bright shiny holiday lights that will parade from the high school to Veterans Park, where there will be hot chocolate and some other treats there, as well as some caroling. I believe the Boreal Children's Choir will be present and caroling for a portion of that time. Very much looking forward to that. I think that'll be a really nice addition to our holiday season around here. I'm gonna skip to assessing and just say really quick that the listing agents for our assessing the revaluation project are just about complete with the entire town. They have Pomola Park and Kelly Mobile Home Park to complete. They will do that in March, and we are still on track to have the project completed and new values entered for April 1st of 2025, which will complete a total reset of our valuations and be a perfectly fair game from there on out, and address so much more. So we're very excited to see that happening and coming to completion. In fire and ambulance, we will be celebrating, well, I won't be in attendance, but there will be a celebration and acknowledgement here at our December 12th council meeting, recognizing 2 full-time staff and 1 paid call member. They have completed Fire 1 and 2, and the paid call member has completed basic fire school. So those are big steps in their career, and we'll be inviting them into the council meeting to acknowledge them publicly for that accomplishment. Oh, Chief Cody's working on starting another basic fire school here in Millinocket. That actually might be the first one. The other one you did was Fire 1 and 2, yes? This is the second one, second basic fire school. Looking to start it in February 2025. It's great to have somebody with his knowledge and skills for training and certifying other folks right here on the staff. And they also finally got to train on that water rescue equipment that we were able to pick up for them recently. So they were out at Jerry Pond on Sunday in the very, very cold water, in the suits and in the boat and that whole thing. As soon as I realized it was happening, John had texted me. I picked up Andrew, threw him in the truck, and my friend Sarah here jumped in the truck, and we ran out to, try to catch some of the training, but they were wrapping up as we got there. I did get an invite to test out the equipment at any time, so I turned it down that day. But maybe someday. And then attached are the wastewater recreation, East Millinocket Police Department, and Millinocket Memorial Library monthly reports, as well as some additional documents that we are including from the clerk's office about their receipts and the call numbers from the month of October for the fire and ambulance department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any counselor have comment or question? Counselor Brogdon.
Thank you. Thank you for the very descriptive villages report. I just want to say congratulations to Officer Edison for completing the DARE program. We haven't had that in a minute, so I'm super happy to see that he's completed that. To answer your question about the December 26th meeting, I circled yes like 5 times, so I'm totally in favor of canceling that meeting. Big thank you to Stearns Lumber, Emery Lee and Sons, Jeff Daigle and Adam Quayle for all the work that they've done. And of course, the Public Works for all of their work. It takes a community to get stuff done, and very apparent that the community is on board with this. So I appreciate all the work that's been done across it. Other than that, that's all I got.
Madam Chairperson. The warming hut, does it have monitoring cameras on it, or will it?
It will. It does not in this moment, but it will before it's operational. It's the same system we have over at the brush pile. Seems to work quite well.
Thank you. The next two I have going through are fire chief's report. He has here, I don't know if you want him to talk on this or not. It has on 2 of the points, it says Chief Cody met with Chief McAdam of East Millinocket Fire and EMS Department at EMMC on future EMS programs here in the Katahdin region. I'd like to know a little bit more about those discussions. And I will couple that with Chief Cody met with county partners on future development of unorganized territories and emergency operators. Can you speak to those conversations briefly?
Yeah, so myself and the East Millinocket chief, we met with Eastern Maine Community College's EMS program as well as KTEC's program down in the east. Just going over, the shortages that we're seeing and trying to get licensed providers in this area. Each day we, continue, to try to find their providers, whatnot. So we're trying to find a way to get programs to happen, EMT class, advanced EMT class in the area. So really the struggle is, is finding that instructor who's willing to travel to this area. The college has gone through some changes on how they're able to do programs. And, that hurts us in these areas. So to get somebody to travel down to Bangor or travel up to Presque Isle for a class just isn't called for, especially for the paid call members, classes are during the day. So we're trying to get something that we can have in the evenings there for the volunteers. On the second note, topic, recently met with county commissioner's office, as well as Brian from Public Works, Sheriff Warden, and also Matt Polstein. We're looking at, seeing, the future of services in the unorganized territories for some of the projects there that Matt Polstein has coming up on, and also on the impact of emergency services and how that would affect us here responding out of town for those.
Thank you, Chief.
Welcome.
Yes, I was going to comment as well on Officer Edson. Thank you. And I don't even want to touch the library report. That's good.
About December 26th.
Sure, if you guys need the day off, take it.
Any other council comment on the manager's report? McLaughlin.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention too, to go along with Council Bragdon, I thought it was wonderful when I read the donations by Stearns Lumber and Emery Lee, Jeff Daigle and Adam Quayle donating materials and time for the Skeeto. That's outstanding. And I just want to publicly thank them for that. Also want to thank our new rec director, Cody McEwen, for a written report. It's nice to see that, to know what's going on. I appreciated that. And I am a definitely, yeah, let's cancel the meeting.
Thank you, Councilor Gonzalez. Councilor Higgins, here you go. I can see your hand up. Barely see it, but.
Yes, I want to thank the members of the community for volunteering their time, materials, and equipment. It says a lot for the community. It's been a long time, and I remember when my children were growing up, how much they used that even without the ski tow being there. So it's going to be a good asset for the town, and thank you.
Thank you. How do you feel about the December 26th meeting?
I'm for it.
You're for having it
No, for
or for canceling?
canceling it. Yes.
Councilor Mackin? Other councilor comments, Councilor Pelletier? The manager's report?
Certainly like to echo everything that's been said regarding report so far and all the progress we're making. And I'm for canceling the meeting as well.
I would be in favor of that as well. So do we have any public comment on the manager's report?
Scott Levitt, 330 Congress Street. I'm looking at these years and everything going on with us shutting the town office here and there, which during snowstorms, it's never been closed like it is now. Now we're coming to the council meeting, which you guys are sworn duty to represent this community. Just because it's Christmas, it's the next day, not a holiday. And I think you guys got to consider that. Yes, anybody that asks for free time off gets it. But we don't know, I don't know how the manager knows that something serious might not come up that day. He's saying it's just warrants. But there might be somebody that has something serious to be on that day and we're canceling it. I'll be here. I do Christmas, I've got kids. But we can't keep canceling things. You only got council meeting 2 times a week, 2 times a month. And to take an hour off here and there, we don't want to do it. If you're away to vacation, that's fine. That's an absolute thing. But I don't think that we're taking it seriously, because I look up here and it's all happy. Yes, you should be happy to take a council meeting off. But don't forget, we pay you to do this job. And now we're canceling a council meeting because we just don't want to be here. And that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Love it. Can I respond? Councilman Ballin?
I'd just like to respond to that. I would just like to say, I mean, I am not all for canceling meetings on a whim. This is a special circumstance. It's the day after Christmas. We have never done that since I've been on the council. The manager is going to be on vacation. So and to say we only meet twice a month, that's not true. We've met several times. We have several executive sessions. We have special meetings. I don't think there's been very many months I've only had 2 meetings a month. So I just, for one time, if we decide we want to do the warrants by email, I think that's justified. Thank you.
Can I add a comment?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Just like to make it very clear that at any time, any day, if any item of importance were to arise, the council can assemble and call a meeting to address business. And I guarantee you that either in the days leading up to that, or the days after that, or the day of that, if an item of importance and urgency were to arise, this council would assemble and hold a meeting and do their business per usual. Thank you.
Mr. Brogdon would like to chime in.
I would. If there's opposition, I have no problem with doing the meeting. It might be, if not, our shortest meeting ever in council history if we're doing just the warrants. If we need to do it, I'm totally in favor if there's opposition. I just think that you might see a lot of people on Zoom.
I'm not
I don't
sure that
think
we
we
need
can
to further debate this. As the manager had said, if there's something that does come up that we need to meet, we will meet. Counselor?
The day after Christmas is work day for me, so it don't matter. I mean, if we have a meeting, fine, if we don't, then.
Just like to call a point of order. We keep going back and forth and we are down to public. Council did have a chance to speak. We are down to the public. And the public's been
Yeah.
asking to
Point-
speak.
Point taken, thank you. Come forward.
Cody McEwen, 81 Bowden Street, your recreation director. I noticed, and I've been noticing all the work that's been done at the Skeeto project, but I'd like to add my perspective. As your recreation director, you pay me to do that. I think the work that's been done by all these reputable contractors is an amazing thing for this town, and I'm excited to see this project come to fruition. However, I do need to caution the administration, the council, and the community to understand the time of the year we're at. With an active ski, pole, or tow mechanical lift in the recreation complex, usually in the fall is when maintenance is happening and project cleaning is happening and test running the facility and making sure all of our procedural and site plans are in place and emergency action plans for winter rescue or trauma are in place. Some very essential things when it comes to the administration and safety of the department and the community need time and effort to make a reality and make a smooth, safe environment for our children and adults to recreate in. I want to see this project off the ground tomorrow, but I need to ask this community to work with this department in seeing that happen safely. We need someone that's 18-year-old to man or woman that lift. As a staff person, they need to be at least 18 years old. Someone cannot volunteer to run that lift. It is a liability and a hazard. We need to have emergency action plans in place where that lift is on the farthest out run. The plowing and design and safety of that site need to be in consideration when it comes to emergency response. If it was in the front, it would be a different story. If it was in the middle, it would be a different story. If it was at the end, it's a different story. The whole idea is that we also need time to come to an understanding with our local EMS, our response as a department and staffing to make sure that we don't get in harm's way. So I'm saying this not to be the bad guy. As your recreation director, I'm also a wilderness first responder and a registered recreational Maine guide. Okay. So I'm not just saying this stuff to say things. Okay. I just want to make sure that there's an awareness that there are other things in place that need to be in place, that need to be communicated through, worked through, rather than just the construction of the unit, the construction of the lift and the running of the lift. These words don't take anything away from all the hard work that people have put so much time and effort to make happen. I just need to realistically caution you guys, we could get a nor'easter next week and get a foot of snow in there. We're supposed to get some Thanksgiving snow, but that's just the reality of these things. I have not been provided a site plan. Is there a site plan? I asked the manager, is there a site plan?
Do you say that past tense or current tense?
Currently.
A site plan, no.
Okay.
You know, as administrators, we should be having these conversations on the administrative level
I
prior to speaking at council meeting.
I completely disagree, actually. I've been hearing a lot of this is going to happen and this is going to happen and this is going to be done. And I've brought up some concerns. For instance, at 2 council meetings ago, I heard it's going to be done tonight. I heard it's all going to be good. There are other things that need to happen. And I need to make sure this community is also level set from a recreation and safety perspective. And I'd love to be part of that conversation. I've had to ask a lot of questions instead of things being brought to me. And I brought up my concerns as well. So moving forward, I hope and I'm heard tonight, it's not about animosity. It's not about anything other than making sure that this awesome thing that's happening for our community is done the right way. When it comes time to implement it and have staff for it and be prepared for emergencies, to have passive sledding at that site, but also have a lift, mechanical lift that will bring you up there too. So just some things to think about, and I'm happy to be a part of that conversation and continue to be a part of that project. I would like some more information if there isn't any site plans or anything like that brought my way. I've had a conversation with the community initiatives director, and it was brought to my attention that it would be good for me to have a conversation with the engineers, but I still haven't met the engineers. I'm willing to get involved, and with that, I've just onboarded with this job within the last less than 2 months, headed right into sports, basketball season. I've been busy, so I don't want you to get that wrong either. There's a lot that's been going on. But I need you all to be aware and the community to be aware, because I hear from every angle this project is happening and the pros and the cons and all this. And I brought up some concerns, but I want to make sure it's well known, my perspective, and not just as your recreation director, but by as your registered Maine guide who's working as your director and wilderness first responder that's working as your recreation director. So
Thank you, Mr.
all right,
We've heard you.
thank you.
We've heard you. Watch your comments, and we will work on making a successful endeavor. Thank you. Any other public comment on? Move on. Okay. Councilor Bragdon, can I have you read order number 256-2020 for approval of the town warrant for November 25th?
Order number 256-2024, providing for execution of the town warrant for November 25th, 2024. It is ordered that the town warrant for November 25th, 2024 in the amount of $697,775.92 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Gary. Any heavy hitters?
Quite a few. $462,505 to B&B paving, $6,800 to D&D paving. That's the Highland Ave project. $3,950 to Design Lab for a pole banner, 24 by 36. Is that correct?
That is the new seasonal banners that are now up on the street.
15,000 Tamery Lee and Sons for transfer station repair. $38,238.82 for the taxiway project, which 97.5% of that will get reimbursed. $41,518.84 to the Maine Water Company for hydrant rental. $8,963.57 to the Municipal Waste Solutions. $3,320 to Willett Nicholas. And that one I did not get what that one was for.
Say it again. It is for maintenance on public works equipment.
$50,870 for the Pine State Elevator Company for the modernization efforts. $5,718.01 to Steve and Mar Engineering Incorporated. That's the Community Brown Grant Assessments. And then the newest one, $32,536.25 for the land loan payment to Bangor Savings Bank.
Public comment on this? Seeing none. Councilor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin? Aye. Councilor Dume?
Aye.
Councilor McLaughlin?
Aye.
Councilor Bragdon?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. Motion passed. Counselor Bragdon, I'll have you read order number 257.
Order number 257 twenty twenty-four, providing for execution of the wastewater warrants for November 25th, 2024. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for November 25th, 2024, in the amount of $17,150.13 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Bragdon, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Anything we need to know about?
Big hitters, there's only three, $1,189.80 to Creative Digital Imaging for postage, $3,752 for meter reads, and $8,996.05 to Versant for power.
Any public comment? Being none, Counselor Pelletier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Higgins,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin,
Aye.
Counselor Dume,
Aye.
Counselor McGowan,
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Chair David with aye. Motion passes. 0. Counselor Higgins, are you able to read order number 258?
Yes, I can. Order number 258, 2024, providing for approval for a special event application for malt, vinous, and spirituous liquor license for Boreal Theater. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the attached application for malt, vinous, and spirituous liquor license is hereby approved for Randy D. Jackson, business address 215 Penobscot Avenue, Millinocket, doing business as Boreal Theater, 215 Penobscot Avenue, Millinocket.
A motion made by Counselor Higgins, second by Counselor Dume. Any council comment on the order? Any public comment on the order? Yes.
If I may address, draw your attention to the first application of our online electronic system that Randy has done for us. So this is the only way that the liquor license will be going through going forward. Signatures are not required. So I just need to follow up through their website and approve or disapprove pending your action. So
That Trustee. Right, any other comment? Being none, we'll take it to a vote.
Randy Jackson, 95 Knox Street. So the Boreal Theater is a 501c3, and we're going to have several events at the theater that marathon weekend, comedy show and a karaoke night, all for the benefit of the towns and its 501c3s, as the marathon has done in the past. So I really appreciate your confidence, and online form filling has become quite a habit for me. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. All right, we're ready for the vote. Counselor Pelletier, how do you
Aye.
vote? Counselor Higgins,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin. Aye. Counselor Dume.
Aye.
Counselor McGowan.
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon.
Aye.
Chair Dan votes aye. Counselor Mackin, can I have you read order number 259?
Order number 259 twenty twenty-four, providing for donation to Life Flight Maine. It is ordered the Millinocket Town Council authorizes the donation to be made to Life Flight of Maine in the amount of $1,500 from the unassigned fund balance.
Second.
Right. Motion made by Counselor Mackin, seconded by Counselor Bragdon. Any council comment? Any public comment?
Say this before Jeff gets up here. I will vote in favor of this order if Counselor Mackin sings at the karaoke night.
Okay. Oh, man.
Jeff Campbell, Airport Manager. It came to mind while Bob was talking about the ER expansion, and it brought to mind all the partnerships that we have with, say, Life Flight and others with our airport and with our medical facilities and all this stuff. If you notice on that list, Millinocket is one of the highest users and transports of Life Flight of Maine. We do, I don't know what the number is on there. I know it was higher than most of the exact number, but it's approaching 50 missions a year. And we do a lot with them. I'm over there a lot of times at 1 and 2 in the morning pumping jet fuel into life flight helicopters. So it's a vital service that's provided. Not that I need to promote for them, but it's very necessary to this community.
We'll take it to a vote. Counselor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Pelletier?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin? Aye. Counselor Dume?
Aye.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon?
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. Motion passes. Counselor Dume, can I have you read order number 260?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Order number 260-2024, providing for approval of street and parking lot closures for Millinocket Marathon. It is ordered that Millinocket Town Council, on the recommendation of Public Health and Safety Officer and Town Manager, authorizes the street closures listed below in relation to the Millinocket Marathon and a half on Saturday, December 7th. Penobscot Ave and all intersections from Central to Katahdin from 6 AM to 6 PM. Bandstand parking lot from 6 AM to 6 PM. Poplar Street from Penobscot to Katahdin from 6 AM to 6 PM. Poplar Street from Katahdin to Golden Road, including intersections at Route 11. Connection for the beginning of the races. These will reopen once the race has begun. Birch from Penobscot to Aroostook from 6 AM to 11 AM.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Dume, second by Counselor Bragdon. Comment. Order. Any public comment on the order? Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. Counselor Pelletier?
Aye.
Counselor Higgins?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin?
Aye.
Counselor Dume?
Aye.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Bragdon?
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. Motion passes 7-0. Counselor Pelletier, can I have you read order number 261, please?
Sure. Order 261-2024, providing for authorization of fire truck purchase. Whereas Millinocket Fire Truck 781 has reached the end of its full working life after 25 years and has failed pump tests, rendering it obsolete as a full-service apparatus. And whereas the town of Millinocket must fire truck responsible for servicing our community and neighboring mutual aid and our contractual services with unorganized territory, both Penobscot and Scottsbluff counties. And whereas the town manager, fire initiatives director have researched all available options and funding for critical and urgent purchase. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council, at the recommendation of their town manager and fire chief, authorize the town manager and town treasurer to submit the attachment credit application, public First National, and execute all necessary future documents for purchase. The Spears International MV 100 M waterless pumper medium fire truck. It is further ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorize a down payment made in the amount of $300,000 toward the purchase of the truck from the unassigned fund balance.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Pelletier, second by Counselor Higgins. Council comment? Discussion? To the public.
We do have a brief slideshow to go over the actual truck itself and the specifications of it. Would you like to see that? I don't want to take away from public comment, but. Oh, yeah, I can pull it right up. Let's do that now. Hang on a moment. I did, hang on. Hey, Bob, what are you looking at?
I'm starting to see your slides now.
Okay, great. Boom.
There you go.
All right. All right there, good evening. So I wanted to, update you guys on this, on the purchase and show you guys some photos of the truck that we recently have. I actually just met with Pierce this afternoon. They were in my office. They drove 2.5 hours just to come up and get some photos of the graphics on the current trucks to get them as close as they can. We've been working side by side with them. Want to move to the next slide?
Sure do.
So the dealer is Allegiance Fire and Rescue. Their main office is down in Massachusetts. Manufacturer of the truck's gonna be Pierce. They've been around for years, selling fire trucks, ambulances. So the truck we're getting is gonna be a 2024. It's a medium level truck. It's gonna be a international 5-man cab, 1,500 gallon per minute waterish pump. We've increased the water capacity here by 250 gallons. So the current truck we have right now is 750 gallons. So we're increasing that by 250, which is a much needed upgrade, for the community and the surrounding areas. Pump size is gonna be 1,500 gallons per minute. 5-person cab and a 25 gallon foam tank. Arrival date's supposed to be late December to early January. They're really pushing the truck because they know their critical need, that we need this truck. It's off the factory line, but it's going back to the factory line because there was a few extra things that we needed to have done to the truck because of the cold weather. The truck's being built in Florida. We really got lucky, working with Allegiance. Right now, to buy a brand new truck, we're talking 3 to 5 years on the market to get a truck built. We knew that we didn't have that time, with the critical need of having the truck. We weren't in a place to, wait for that. And then if we buy used, we're buying somebody else's problem at the same time, which there's no warranty, no guarantee how long that truck would last. So I expect to see the truck probably late December, more than early January. Go to the next slide. This is a drawing. This is what they present when we first begin looking at this truck. So they had a couple trucks in stock units that they began building that had no place to go in the beginning. They just built a couple trucks in case if somebody gets into a scenario as we did here in Millinocket. So we had a couple trucks to choose from. This truck right here was able to best meet the needs of the community. Go to the next slide. So this is the truck that we're gonna be getting. On the front of the truck, on the bumper, there's a 100-foot trash line that we can use to attack fires when we arrive right on scene. So pretty much a quick attack. All the compartments are all enclosed, roll-up doors. There's not gonna be anything on the outside of the truck. So everything on the outside that used to be on trucks, ladders, everything's undercover now. Go to the next slide. That's the front of it here. It's a 5-man cab, so inside all the seats, other than the driver's side, has the brackets made in, so the air packs are made right into the seats. What that means is firefighters responding to calls. If this truck had a full crew, they're able to get their air packs on, responding to a fire, and when they arrive on scene, they're already ready to go. They just have to pull a hand line and ready to go and fight the fire. Another next slide. This is the driver's side of the truck. And other next slide. That's the passenger side. So some of the upgrades are going to meet the current NFPA ISO standards, Assurance Service Office standards. We're going to change our response. This truck's going to be first out engine for all emergencies. Larger water capacity, as I mentioned. We'll have foam capability, all new ground ladders, all equipment undercover, including ladders. This engine will have the room to house all our extrication tools, hazmat equipment, water rescue, and we're also going to add some medical equipment to this truck as well. So future is, you know, depending on staffing levels and needs, this truck will also be able to respond out to ambulance calls as well. New equipment, more equipment storage, major upgrade. Allegiance has a service truck now on the road that can come to us for routine service, any small minor repairs, and then they have service centers in Auburn, Bangor, Fort Kent, Saco. And then they'll provide us training as well when the truck arrives to the full-time crews. So very huge upgrade for us right now. We're getting by. With the call we just had, we made sure that we had help on the road coming right away because we only have the one truck right now for interior attack. So making this happen, this purchase will get us back to where we need to be and even above that. So I appreciate the support, that we've received on this from you guys as the council, the manager, administration. It means a lot, to the department, myself. I think you guys will be happy with the truck when it arrives, and this should last us a long time. You guys have any questions?
We did have a public comment.
Yes, we got public.
Yeah, so that's a great question. They'll bring the truck up on a flatbed. Yeah, from Florida at least, we'll go down to Auburn and get some small extra add-ons down there, like the hose bed covers and whatnot, and then from there we'll make arrangements.
Sorry, I'll go back out to we're at the public, Sandra Sullivan.
Hi, Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. I don't remember back into the budget. You're giving them authorization for 300,000 for the down payment. How are we paying for the rest of it? And what is the cost?
Happy to answer that. So the total cost of the truck was in the packet, $624,000 and change. We will be financing it over a period of 10 years. The payments are roughly $40,000 a year. And that, given some other saving areas that we have planned for in our budget, fit nicely in. Be very affordable.
Thank you.
I think you're going to Counselor Higgins next.
Councilman Higgins.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chief, for answering that question I had was when it was going to be able to go into service. But with us being down a truck for unseen fires before anyone can enter the house, the town needs it for our constituents and the residents' safe being.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I agree that we desperately need this fire truck. I'm gonna ask the manager or Chief Cody, whoever's most qualified to answer this question. If you could give the public and some of the newer council members that may not know, we do know that some of the public doesn't know. I've had some citizens ask me as of late that same very question that Ms. Sullivan asked, concerns about how we pay for it. Being that we have no other stream to pay for this, it's going to be heavy lift on the tax base, on the taxpayer themselves, because we are dipping into the unassigned fund balance and then funding the rest of it. Could you explain briefly how we got to this point, what we're working with, and why this equipment is so critical for our fire department right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So each year we're required by Maine Bureau of Labor Standards, National Fire Protection Association standards, each apparatus needs to go through a annual pump test. And that annual pump test goes through different capacities of the truck. And this year, this truck was only able to go through up to the 25%. I wouldn't go any further than that. So the highest it will go is up to 100%. Wasn't able to go any past that. So that was the first pump test. We went back and we followed the recommendations by Northeast when they came. We sent the truck out for some routine service and repair, which hasn't been done for a while. The truck came back, we ran it. We also went through, running it, whatnot, and waited for them to come back to do the second pump test. So that second pump test had failed. It was even running worse at that point. Right now, we're not able to use that truck for any interior firefighting. So if we had a house that's on fire, I cannot use that truck to send a crew inside a fire right now because it's unsafe. Because I need to make sure that that truck's able to work properly and run properly to protect those firefighters going inside the fire and also to protect them to get the bystanders out. So the truck's aged. It's going to cost a lot of money for repairs, and we don't know if it could even be repaired. It's a communication error that's between the cab and the pump that just isn't able to communicate. KMEs, this kind of truck's more of a Air Force military fire truck, which has a shelf life of 25 years. And after that, the military buys hundreds of these trucks at once. It's never a truck that's made to be repaired or it's made to be replaced. And the critical part is not being able to send a crew inside right now. We're relying heavily on our mutual aid communities when we have a call. So even a routine call could require us to call for a mutual aid. Because if I have to send a crew inside, using one truck, I have to have another truck there to back them up. We don't have that right now.
Thank you.
Manager, can I just ask, what is the unassigned fund balance?
Given the current accounting, it is just shy of $3.9 million. That is not taking into account the several large payments out of there that have been made towards the airport projects, which are reimbursed at 97.5%. So that grows that balance well beyond 4 million. And then there are 2 years worth of the layover that are built into the tax commitment that are not calculated into that balance as well. So I would estimate it closer to 4.5 million right now. And our goal, our bottom line, our necessary is 3 million.
Councilor Higgins, back to you.
Yeah, Chief. If that truck wasn't replaced, currently it's affecting your response over to the unorganized territories, correct? And the
Yes.
assistance out there. Okay, thank
It
you.
also affects us with our mutual aid contracts that we have with the neighboring communities as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing the information.
Thank you, guys.
I'll just jump in and add, the question of the ongoing budgetary relation to this purchase has been brought up a couple of times. With this size of a down payment and the 10-year financing, given the way we've been addressing our budget the last several years and our new creative approaches to the capital purchase budget in the coming years. You know, we've actually decreased our budget substantially, you know, 3 years in a row at this point, and I don't see this having any sort of real impact on any raise or increase in the budget. This will fit nicely into what we're already working.
Thank you for that additional information. Any other comment? Being none, we'll take it to a vote. Councilor Pelletier, how do you vote on order 261?
Aye.
Councilor Higgins,
Aye, I'm in support.
Councilor Mackin,
Aye.
Councilor Dume,
Aye.
Councilor McGlaughlin. Aye. Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor Danforth, aye. Motion passes 7-0. Councilor McGlaughlin, can I have you read order?
Yes, order number 262-2024, providing for approval of appointments to Town of Millinocket Council Chair Committees. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the appointments and or extend the appointments of committee members as revised and described in the attached document. Do I have to read all of it? No.
Yes, thank you. Motion made by Councilor McGlaughlin, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. I will just speak to this order. What has changed age-friendly committee, based, it's something that I had shared. I did, as far as dissolve, Economic Development and Sustainability Committee. Not to say that we wouldn't reinstate that or, establish a task force if needed. So it was pretty much dormant last year, so we will, bring one back up as we need it. And I spoke to council members that were on the Charter Review Committee. We'll keep that going as long as we still have an order that's been tabled that we'll bring back up in the new year. Any council comment? Councilor Bragdon?
Yeah, that was my big thing is I would love to see the Charter Review Committee go dormant once the orders get brought up and passed again. The only comment I have is that Richard Angotti is the vice chair for the Charter Review Committee.
Noted, we could take it back. Okay. Comment. Public? Seeing none, we'll vote on order number 262. Councilor Bragdon.
Aye.
Councilor McGlaughlin. Aye. Councilor Dume.
Aye.
Councilor Mackin. Aye. Councilor Higgins.
Aye.
Here.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. Motion passes. 0. We are at reports and communications. Work committee will be next December 12th meeting. Councilor Dume and Councilor Higgins. Does that work? Good.
Yep.
Shared committee reports. I would say there are none, other than the next age-friendly meeting is set for December 10th. I'm working on meeting minutes to get posted to the website. Next on the agenda is an opportunity. We have 2-minute public comment. Anybody wants to make a comment? We ask that you remain civil, perhaps constructive.
Scott Levitt, 330 Congress Street. I just want to know before I do some stuff, was that an official vote on canceling that council meeting? You know,
No official vote.
does that
No.
have to go to a vote?
It would be beneficial to go to an official vote at a later date. That was just a
Later date,
discussion.
so you talk about next month.
Yep,
Okay, I just want to
be
know.
December 12th.
You do some research, so. As long as it's not official.
Not official. Any other public comment or none? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
Motion made by Councilor Dume, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. All those in favor, Councilor Higgins,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin, Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Dume, Councilor McGlaughlin, aye, Councilor Bragdon, Chair Danforth, aye. Meeting is adjourned.
God, you gotta do that on the paper. You gotta do that on the paper.
Like that hammer, don't
I
that?
think she does it
Holy
when she first spoke like that.